Okay, here is a very quick video to show you how you can create a DXF file from Revit to try and help you with your bridge building project in CIV 1200. So we're going to open a family, so we're going to create a new one, and we're going to use the same as before, going to metric generic model. The metric generic model, press OK. We've now got these crosshairs. These crosshairs are in the plan view. It's open, so it's reference level or plan view. So you're looking down onto effectively your cutting template. So rather than creating a 3D model, we're going to use Revit just because we know how to use it to create a 2D cutting template. So let's start off with a reference plane and do a line across like so. You need to know the dimensions of an A3 sheet, and being sad, I know them. So 297 high, and then a reference plane this way, 420. So 297 by 420 is the size of an A3 sheet. So now, if you just look in here, this is your cutting sheet. So within these boundaries are the only space you've got to cut from your piece of 3mm ply. So if you wanted to create a cutting, let me show you how to do it. It's exactly the same extrusion. So we're now going to do an extrusion, and I'm going to say I want a piece for a truss. I'm going to start from here and I'm going to go up. I'm going to say the piece I want is going to be 200mm long, and I'm wanting it to be 45mm wide, and then I'm going to go to the bottom and go to the bottom, and that's now closed, and press a tick. So that's now an extrusion, and we know that if we went into the side view it was 250mm thick, but don't worry about that, just keep that exactly as it is. I'll now say I wanted to put a hole at the end, so let me zoom in on this end and say let me do another reference plane. So if you do a reference plane across here, it has no reference to give you a dimension. So if I do one from the end, like here, it'll then give this dimension. If I put 25mm, it'll probably move that top one down because of the way I did the reference planes. So if you get rid of those, so let's just delete these. So if you start with a reference plane on the top, or wherever you're taking dimension from, like so, and then you do another reference plane, then if you now say 25mm down, it will bring that bottom one up. So I'm going to say I wanted a hole in the centre, because I'm going to use a piece of dowel to make a joint. So I'm going to say go along here, and you can see if you move closely you get a midpoint where that triangle is. Clicks on there, so click here and then down, and make sure you're at 90 degrees. So I now know if I zoom in on this place, this is the centre of this 45mm wide. So I'm now going to create an extrusion. This time it's going to be a void extrusion, so I'm going to make sure I need to cancel that. So I press extrusion rather than. So I'm going to create a void form, void extrusion. I'm going to do it as a diameter. Now this dowel is 6mm diameter, that means it's 3mm radius. So if I did 3mm radius, it's going to be a perfect fit. I want it to be quite tight, so I'm going to nip that down by a little bit. I'm going to say, I'm going to make it 2.65 radius. So what we've got here, and then you can measure this to see what you've actually got. So from here to here, I've got 5.3. That's probably going to be a bit tight, so maybe you want to make that something like 5.6, 5.7 maybe. So you could go back into here and amend these dimensions to suit. So once you've got that, just press click again. So you've got a extrusion. If you want to make sure it has cut, because I know some of you had problems, you put realistic on this, you can see that it has cut. If you want to make sure that has cut, it's always worth putting it in realistic. Once you've done that, you've then got this A3 sheet. So again, if you wanted another one, you could copy and paste this and put it here. You could have cut lines overlapping each other. In the software, what happens then is you need to, when the people use the laser cutting, they'll take one of those lanes out, but they can do that when it's a DXF file. But of course you couldn't put one here. You could rotate one and put one this way. But bear in mind there is a grain on this. So if you want to tell the laser cutter you want it to be, the grain to be on the short side or on the long side of the A3, that's a really good idea. So that's an example. You could have any shape, but obviously you're bounded by this A3. What you do now is you make sure you're still in reference level. You do file and you do export, and then this is creating a DXF CAD format. So here you are, and you click DXF here. So it's now creating, and it's saying I can only see something in this area. It'll expand that view depending on what you're showing. Then you want to say yes, I want to do that, and it's this reference level. Press next, and then you're saying, so what's this called? So I could put this, family on floor plan. You could actually say this is cutting sheet group X, and then maybe your initials, and then you've got something that you can save. It's saving it as an AutoCAD DXF file. You could have done this in AutoCAD on 2D, just rather than teach you a new piece of software. I thought I'd just show you how to do it via Revit. By all means, go and play with Autodesk. You can download it the same AutoCAD, from Autodesk. You can download it the same as you could Revit and many other bits of software as well. Press OK. It's asking you, you should know where that's going to, and then you've got your file, and you can email that through according to the instructions from Giacomo. Hope that was useful. Any problems, you can put questions in the Civ 1900 discussion board. That's fine. I can always ask Giacomo if it's something that's more related to 1200 than it is to do with the DXF file. But DXF file issues, please feel free to put it in the 1900 discussion board for the Revit. Okay, good luck and enjoy that. I hope to see some of your bridges in a few weeks' time.